All right. So it's actually the next day of me recording this. You wouldn't know because I put on the same outfit for continuity. But it's time for my top 10 movies of the year. Yeah, it was an awesome year for movies. And I'm really excited to let you guys know about the best that I saw. I would recommend all of these movies to pretty much everyone, I think, with a few exceptions. So even though it is a ranked list, I still think all these movies are great and all of them should be seen. But starting out at number 10, we have Friendship. This is a weird but really funny movie. Um, it stars Tim Robinson, who, if you're not sure who that is, he was in this show on Netflix called I Think You Should Leave, which was just kind of like a sketch show like Key and Peele or Nathan for You or The Chappelle Show, something like that. And Tim Robinson basically just plays an insane person in most of the skits. And so it's a very specific type of humor. And so if you think it's funny, you will love this movie. But even if you haven't seen the show, or if you have and it wasn't quite your thing, this still might work for you. I definitely think it's worth a shot for just about everybody. So Tim Robinson is Craig Waterman, and he plays this. Basically, he plays the same character he does in the sketch show, where he's just this insanely awkward, rude, strange man. But basically, the concept of this movie is where they take this guy who is all those weird, crazy things, and they insert him into a very serious drama that's playing everything like very seriously. And you wouldn't think that would work as well as it does, but it's very very funny, and it works. It works great. So, Craig Waterman is basically just this guy who's kind of a loser. He has this weird job where his role is to make phone apps more addicting to the people who use them. He's got a weird relationship with his wife, played by Kate Mara, and you really can't figure out what the dynamic is between the two of them. And he doesn't really have any friends. Paul Rudd and Kate Mara and a lot of the supporting cast, they played this whole movie a lot more serious, which really balances with just how insane, wacky Tim Robinson is. And it somehow works. I mean, the movie's really not just funny. There's also some pretty like intense, dramatic scenes, or like there's a scene in a sewer that honestly, like I could feel like the audience I was with at this movie theater was like, you could tell people were like actually nervous about what was going on, which is just kind of bizarre. Uh, when you watch this guy, you will understand what I'm talking about. It's just how crazy and insane he is. So there's also a lot of really funny side characters. You got people like this drug dealer named T Boy. You've got this guy who gets into a really big argument with Craig in his garage, and he says a really funny joke about Afghanistan. Um, he there's a guy, this guy, and his name is really funny. But yeah, no, I mean it's just a really good time. it's it's one of the more unique experiences I can think of watching a movie last year. But yeah, one of the other things that the movie touches on is when you're an adult, and how it's a lot harder to make friends than when you were a kid or like in high school or college. And so that was actually kind of an interesting dynamic of the movie. Overall, I would say Friendship's really, really good. It's really funny. One of the most fun I had at the movies this year was seeing this at the big crowd, and people were just like cracking up throughout the whole thing. All right, so next up at number 9 is One Battle After Another. Now, might be a hot take. I know this is like number 1 on a lot of people's lists, and I love this movie. It's great. I had a awesome time seeing this in theaters. Just a few minor kind of complaints I had with it that kind of keep it from being like number one of the year for me. But this movie's awesome. This movie kicks ass. A lot of it. So One Battle is basically about Leonardo DiCaprio, who is a former freedom fighter, political activist, who has gone into hiding, has basically become a recluse, and since the entire government and military is after him. And it's about him trying to find his daughter. His daughter has gone missing, and it's about him kind of confronting his past and trying to come to terms with like some of the things he did and that sort of thing. This movie's awesome. It's great. I mean, I think the place you got to start out here is the performances. I mean, Leonardo DiCaprio, I mean, he's pretty much automatic at this point. But he plays a very different character here than I think he's played before. Like, he's kind of an idiot, but you also see some places where he's actually like really smart and really strategic. But he's super funny. He's really likable. I mean, he's basically playing like a stoner. But he definitely adds a lot more depth and character to it. Sean Penn steals this movie. I think he gives one of the best performances of the year. He should definitely win Best Supporting Actor. He's just like this creepy, weird, but really funny villain of the movie. He's pretty much the main bad guy. And his motivation that you find out throughout the movie is pretty out there and is not something I really saw coming. But yeah, everything about his performance is just like perfect. Just like the way he like stands like straight up and the way he walks and just the wild, weird things he says. When you find out what like a big motivating factor is for him in this movie, it's pretty crazy. When you kind of find out who's behind a lot of what's going on in this movie, it's wild. It's very entertaining. But yeah, no, he's awesome in this movie. He's a very good villain. He plays it really well. Definitely a very memorable character, a lockjaw. That was his name. Del Toro, he's also great in this movie. He was also nominated for Best Supporting Actor. He just plays this really cool guy. Like, he's this, one of the characters I would say, one of the all-time characters I would say that you would just want to hang out with. Like, he's just this cool karate instructor who is helping Leo throughout probably like most of the like second half of the movie. He's just like super charismatic, super fun to watch. Definitely like one of my favorite parts of the movie for sure. In Chase Infinity, she plays Leonardo DiCaprio's daughter. She does a great job at this. Never seen her in anything, but she was like perfect for this role. I definitely think she could have got nominated for Best Supporting Actress. She kind of plays, I would say, maybe the biggest role in the last act of this movie. And she pulls off, she's given a lot to do, and a lot of the movie falls on like her shoulders, and she nails it. I mean, she does such a good job. Excited to see what she'll do in the future here. And the last person I want to point out as far as performances goes is this guy named Jim Ratterman. I hope I'm saying that right. He plays definitely like the most intimidating villain of the movie. He's only in like 2 or 3 scenes. He's basically just like a military interrogator. And it turns out that's what he did in his real life. Like, he's a retired military officer. And so he apparently was like a big time interrogator for really bad people. And so he can definitely pull off that part because he's like very intimidating, very scary. He's definitely like one of the bigger strengths of the movie, I would say, especially like towards the second half of the film. But yeah, I mean, it's really cool when a movie can put non-actors in roles, and it adds like a level of authenticity to the film. The Safdie brothers are really well known for doing that, but it's done really well here. And next, I would definitely talk about the director, Paul Thomas Anderson. He is definitely one of my favorite directors working today. There Will Be Blood, Boogie Nights, The Master. He's done a ton of great movies. Punch Drunk Love with Adam Sandler is definitely one of the more underrated movies I've seen. He does such a good job because there's so much going on in this movie. There's a lot of different like genres and a lot of tones going on. Very different types of characters and their dynamics with each other, and he mixes it all like super well. And of course, like his direction of action is awesome. I mean, there's a car chase scene in here that's like one of the best action scenes I can ever remember seeing before. I mean, it was crazy, crazy. Um, I mean, like it was one of those things. Like I was almost getting like nauseous, but like not in a bad way. Just like I felt like I was there. It was crazy. There's like a 30-minute sequence in this movie where it's just Leonardo DiCaprio trying to find a charger for his phone, and it was like one of the most like panic attack inducing scenes of anything I saw this year. It was like very high tension but still funny. Like I legit thought I was gonna have a heart attack watching this scene. But yeah, no, I mean he balances like a lot of different things, a lot of moving parts, and like it's a big budget film. It's like it's a very long movie, and he does a good job of like kind of gluing it all together and making it a fantastic movie. There's a shot where a character closes a car door, and the camera's like on the car door as it like swings closed, and yeah, that was cool. I liked that part. Yeah, I mean. The ending of this movie was one of my favorite endings to a film this year. It's like it just really wrapped up everything perfectly, both for Leonardo DiCaprio's character and Sean Penn's character. Like it really was one of the better endings I saw. Like I can't think of any better way they could have done it. So might be wondering like why isn't this number one or why isn't this higher? There's just like some small complaints I had. I thought there were a few characters like Tiana Taylor's character and Regina Hall's character, and there's like a Native American character that plays a bigger part towards the end of the movie, and I just wasn't quite sure what they were going for with most of them, and I wasn't quite sure if those characters landed as well for me as some of the other ones did. And then I just thought like the first act of the movie, and it's really more just like the first 20-25 minutes. um, I thought that it's basically like kind of the whole setup of the film. I didn't think that was as strong as once they kind of flash forward to present day. That's when the movie really starts to take off for me. So I just thought the intro wasn't as well done as like the rest of the film, which is like almost perfect. So just some small complaints, but I mean, everyone should see this movie. It's great. All right, number 8, we have If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. This is a pretty small film that came out last year. A lot of you probably haven't heard of it, but man, if you thought Leonardo DiCaprio trying to find his phone charger was anxiety inducing, this entire movie is basically that scene. Yeah, it is. It's basically an hour and a half long panic attack. So yeah, like I said, this is a small movie, indie movie. I think A24 made this one, and it's basically about this mom who is just having a rough go. Yeah, the mom's played by Rose Byrne. And honestly, like most of this cast is like very random. So you have Rose Byrne, who most people probably know from like comedies like Neighbors or Bridesmaids. You have Conan O'Brien. You have ASAP Rocky. You have Christian Slater's in the movie. Yeah, I mean it's very random cast, but it's definitely entertaining to see all these kind of people you never would think would be in a movie together, acting and being like sharing scenes together. So no, that part, the casting itself was actually a lot of fun. So we pretty much spend the entire movie following Rose Byrne's character Linda, and yeah, she is just not having a great time in life. Her life is not going super well. So she has a daughter with an eating disorder, and they're having to live at this crappy motel because their apartment flooded. Her husband's like always away at work. Um, yeah, and she is just kind of a hot mess express. So yeah, I mean the movie's basically about her just trying to survive, just trying to like make it one day at a time with all this all this bad stuff happening to her, and it's about her trying to not only get over like what's happening to her, but also what's happened to her in the past and how she can try to deal with it. And some of the stuff's like told to you. Some of the stuff's just kind of implied. They leave it a little some things vague, but I think they give you just enough that it works. But she is a very 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 flawed character. She makes horrifying decisions throughout this movie that just make her life worse. But you just can't take your eyes off of her. It's even though she's not super relatable because she makes such bad decisions. You still have like this empathy for her and still want her to get her freaking life together. And I mean, like, just wait till you find out what her job is. Like, I was like, you've got to be kidding me when I found out what her job was. She's not qualified for it. So what I like most about this movie is definitely Rose Byrne's performance. I mean, she plays this woman perfectly. I think she is clearly I think she should clearly win Best Actress at the Oscars this year. It's not even close to me. I've never seen someone play like an exhausted character or an exhausted person as well as she does in this movie. And yeah, you get to see her be angry, sad, happy, funny, traumatized. I mean, you really get like the full package here. Yeah, no, I think she was phenomenal in the movie. She like alone would be worth the price of admission here. So the director, I think her name's Mary Bronstein. She's I'm not sure if she's directed anything else, but she does a great job here too. She makes a really clever choice when it comes to how she shoots Linda, the main character, and her daughters. So, I mean, like, we never see her face. We never even learn her name. All we do is just hear her crying and whining and complaining. And, I mean, just being a kid. But just the fact that you never really can connect with her because all you do is really hear her. It is a really interesting choice, and I think it's really effective and kind of puts you in the shoes of Rose Byrne in here. And she also has more like abstract like scenes that she shoots. Like, and normally I don't like that kind of stuff. I like my movie to be like very clear, like, hey, this is what it's about. Here's what's happening. But like occasionally a movie can like throw more weird, like metaphorical, abstract stuff at you. Something like, I don't know, like Fight Club maybe. Can have like themes and things that are going on that maybe aren't 100% literal, but it's in situations like that it can work, and this movie does some stuff I won't explain here, but there's stuff like the giant hole in their apartment in their ceiling. It's not supposed to be like 100% literal, but there's stuff like that I think is actually pretty effective here. Yeah, the director also plays the daughter's eating disorder doctor, and she does a really good job there too. So good job, Mary. And then as far as like what's holding this film back from being like top 3, top 5 film of the year for me, I wasn't quite sure what the film was going for with like Conan O'Brien's character or ASAP Rocky's character. I just couldn't quite figure out like what their purpose was, what the point of having them in the movie was. So I'd be interested to learn a little bit more about that part. But other than that, yeah, it was great. Yeah, I would definitely recommend. Well, this movie's going to be interesting to talk about. Coming in at number 7 is It Was Just an Accident. This is a film by Jafar Panahi? Panahi. And this is a film from Iran. Uh, Just the story of how this film was made is insane. This director Jafar Panahi, he's made a ton of movies in the past, basically criticizing the Iranian government, and because of that, he's been put in jail. He's been like censored and stuff. And this movie is another one of those. This movie is it's a complete takedown of the regime that they have there. They had to film this whole movie in like secret in Iran, so they filmed it all in like kind of more closed off like remote locations in Iran. And then they shipped all the footage to France to be edited, and that's where they like completed the film. Really hope this guy's okay, especially with everything going on. Hope everyone's okay. But just talking about the movie, this is a phenomenal movie. Definitely one of the best I saw last year. My wife actually saw this movie with me, and the parts that she was awake for, she really really liked. My dogs are back. What's up, buddy? Come on, get up here. Come, there we go. Chipper, come here. Come on. There we go. Okay. All right. Guess these guys are joining. Basically, the premise of this movie is actually kind of funny. You basically have these group of people who were prisoners in Iran. They were like in prison for, basically like either speaking out against the government or, the government felt like they wronged them in some way. It's not explained how every character was a prisoner, but basically all you need to know is that they were imprisoned by the regime, and they went through a lot of really bad stuff in prison. And while they were incarcerated, there was this one particular prison guard who was like especially brutal to them. And so one of the ex-prisoners, they're all out now. They're all citizens again. But one of these ex-prisoners finds that guard that was so brutal to him, and well, at least he thinks he finds him. So he's not sure. So that's kind of the whole premise of the movie, is that this group of people, they are not 100% sure if this is the prison guard that treated them so badly, because the whole time they were in prison, basically they were blindfolded. So they don't know what he looks like, but they think this is the guy. And so they're kind of left with like this moral question of, what do we do? Do we get our revenge on this guy, or do we turn the other cheek? Like it comes up with some pretty interesting questions and moral quandaries as far as what all they can do. It's a really good story, and it goes through a lot of themes of like revenge, like how to deal with like bad things that happen to you in your past, and it's fantastic. So yeah, I mean the film's really just about like the moral question of what the hell do we do with this guy, it kind of goes into like revenge versus justice. How do we right the wrongs of what's been done to us, that type of thing. So even though it's actually a lot more humorous than you'd think, it still obviously deals with like very serious subject matter for sure. The whole cast here is great, but definitely want to give a shout out to Mariam Afshari. Hope I'm saying that right. She's a photographer. She would actually be my pick for best supporting actress. I think I haven't seen her get like any consideration, any nominations for any awards, but I totally think she deserves it. I mean, she gives a really long monologue towards like the end of the movie that was like one of the best scenes of any film I saw last year. So she definitely deserves more credit, and I hope you're okay, Miriam. Yeah, I mean, she's like the best when it comes to portraying both sides of this argument of like the humanity and the revenge sides of this like big moral argument. She plays both sides perfectly, and yeah, she's I think the best part of this movie. Yeah, I mean the whole cast, especially like all of like the ex prisoners together, they have really good chemistry. They're all like very different characters, and they all stand out when they're with each other. Like for example, there's this one character who was getting her wedding pictures taken when they think they found this prison guard, and so she's like in most of the movie in her wedding dress, like while all this craziness is going on. And so it's like all the characters have really good chemistry, and they're all like very unique, good characters that are fun to watch together. And like I said, the movie's actually like surprisingly funny. Like there's this ongoing joke of um, you have to like bribe like pretty much everyone you meet, not just the cops, but also like the nurses in the hospital. You have to bribe them. So yeah, no, I mean it's not just like a 100% serious movie. There's there's some more lighthearted moments as well. How like all the people, like all of our group of characters were following. They're all like flawed. They're not all like big super badasses. They're just like very normal regular people. And like how did those type of people deal with this situation? And I mean the film's shot so well. Like the Iranian desert is like super pretty. There's like some really long takes here. I think there's this one scene towards the end where basically the camera stays completely still for probably like 15 or 20 minutes. And everything's just shot really well. Won't go into the ending at all, but I know a lot of people have said it's one of the best endings of a film they've seen all year. And I would have to agree. It's great. As far as flaws go, I guess like maybe the first 20-30 minutes pacing might be a little bit slow. There might be a few scenes here or there that they could have trimmed down a little bit, but nothing major. I mean, this is a great movie. This is just like how good of a year of film this was, because this could have been like a top 2 or 3 movie of any other year. So I think this movie you can rent on Amazon for like $5. Totally worth watching. It is in a different language, but yeah, I really think everyone should see this movie. Yeah, and again, hope everyone's okay. All right, so no dogs for this one, I guess. Next up is number 6, Warfare. This is a film directed by Alex Garland and Ray Mendoza. This is a war film. Takes place in kind of in the peak of the Iraq War, and it's basically the whole movie is just one battle that they had, and it pretty much takes place in like real time. So when the film starts, you've got like a bunch of soldiers that are getting in position on this one mission that they're on, and it's basically the start of this mission to the end of the mission is the entire movie. Basically, the entire plot is just based off of memory by one of the directors, Ray Mendoza. He was like an actual Navy SEAL fighting in Iraq during the time, and so basically he just wrote the script based on what he remembers about the film. So it's pretty cool, and it definitely gives the film a very realistic type feeling. I can't imagine any other war film is more realistic or accurate than this one. I mean, obviously, if looking at me, you can probably guess I've never been a Marine or a Navy SEAL, so I wouldn't know what it's like to actually be in combat. But this seems to be probably the closest you could get. If I had to compare it to another war film, it would probably be Black Hawk Down, or maybe like that first scene of Saving Private Ryan. It's very intense, but this is like masterfully made. Yeah, this movie's awesome. Not just the fact that it's all based on a real life mission, but the fact that like how it's directed and how it basically plays out in real time. Like you really do feel like you're on this mission with these soldiers, and it gets intense. It gets horrifying. I would say some of the best screaming acting I've ever seen, just as far as someone who's really hurt and screaming in pain. can't imagine a much better performance than a couple of these guys give. Really does seem like they've been shot. Yeah, I mean, uh, I would say one of the things that this film does so well that really like immerses you in the battle is the sound design. Like it sucks that more people couldn't have saw this in the theater because like there's not any kind of like home theater setup you can have that would do it justice. Like the bullets flying past you, the explosions. There's the scene. It's they call it a show of force that the Navy SEALs use against the terrorists they're going up against, and it is one of the most impressive things I've ever seen. I really thought I might lose my hearing. It's not like Saving Private Ryan where you're really getting to know the soldiers and like their backstory and like seeing them holding a photograph of a loved one back home, kind of like those cliches you see in some more films. This is a really good cast, like really good actors who are doing a really good job of portraying soldiers, but it's really just them trying to survive. It doesn't really like go into super deep backstory of anyone. But you get enough of like their personality and that sort of thing to stay engaged and to root for these guys. All the actors here are good. You got like Eddie from Stranger Things. You got Charles Melton. You got Will Poulter. You got I think his name is Cosmo Jarvis. He looks a lot like my friend Brent. And yeah, he has one of those really, really good movie screams. It doesn't really get much more intense than this movie. And they do show, they do a good job of showing like what the innocent Iraqi people had to go through too with everything that happened. So I'm glad they showed that side of the war as well. So as long as you don't mind intense action scenes, then can't recommend this one enough. Definitely one of the best movies I saw last year. He's back. So number 5 is going to be Begonia. So this is from director Yorgos Lanthimos. He's a Greek filmmaker, and man, I love this freaking director, man. He is awesome. He makes pretty out there movies. Definitely some more bizarre than others. He made The Favorite and Poor Things and The Lobster and Killing of a Sacred Deer. This is definitely one of my favorites he's made. I still think The Favorite is my favorite of his. But yeah, this movie's awesome. His movies have a very like dark sense of humor. Sometimes almost like too dark for me. So dark that I don't even really think it's funny. But and other times his like sense of humor works perfectly. And I think here he does have a really good balance of the darker, more dramatic stuff and some more funny stuff. So no, he does a really good job here for sure. Yeah, I mean there's usually pretty like messed up things happening in his movies. Stuff that I don't even feel comfortable like explaining right now. But just trust me, there's some probably some weirdness. His movies are definitely not for everyone. This one's probably more accessible than his other works, but yeah, no, this is a very unique filmmaker for sure. So Begonia is about these two cousins who kidnap Emma Stone. They think that she's an alien, so that's why they kidnap her to interrogate her and have her take them to her spaceship, basically. And she's like the CEO of this pharmaceutical company, and she actually has a history with one of the cousins, and that kind of plays out the more the more the film goes along. And yeah, it's a pretty wacky out there plot, but it works. I was fascinated through most of this as far as just, I mean, basically the whole time you're finding out, well, wait, is she an alien? Is she? No, she can't be. Well, but maybe. So I mean, I love that aspect of the film of just like not really knowing what's happening, and it gives you like enough like hints here and there to keep like the story moving and to keep it compelling. I mean, I think the best part of this movie is definitely the dynamic between Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons. Emma Stone is the CEO character, and Jesse Plemons, who a lot of you might know as Todd from Breaking Bad, he is one of the cousins that kidnaps her. Their dynamic is what makes this movie. Just like the arguments between each other, kind of the cat and mouse aspect of it. It's really entertaining. There's like this one scene where they're eating dinner together, and they get into this big argument, and it's one of my favorite scenes of the whole year. Yeah, it's such a well acted and well directed movie from start to finish. Yeah, I mean, like Emma Stone. I honestly think she might be the best actress working right now. She's very, very good. And she totally deserved to get nominated for Best Actress here. Jesse Plemons, though, got robbed. He gave easily one of the best performances of the year, and I think he should have absolutely been nominated. That's why this is going to be a nightmare to edit, and this is my very first time editing a video. So yeah, I mean, Jesse Plemons plays like a very complicated character. Like he's been through a lot in his life. A lot of people have really screwed him over, and so it explains a lot of the bad things he does in this movie. But he portrays it perfectly. Like I can't imagine an actor doing a much better job than he did in this movie. Definitely one of the better actors we have working today, I would say, for sure. Emma Stone's awesome here. She's probably the best actress working today. So she totally deserved to get nominated for Best Actress. She plays this like very, very cold CEO girl boss type. She actually did shave her head for this movie, and when she shaves her head, she actually does kind of look like an alien. It's pretty funny. But yeah, she when she's the CEO girl boss, there's this like really funny bit of her talking about like how all of her employees can leave at 5:30 if they want to now, but only if they've like done all of their work and don't have anything else to do. And well, they still have quotas to meet that they need to make sure are getting done. So I mean, it's just like she's just like I said, a very cold, not relatable CEO. But she has a lot of layers to her, and I won't go too much into her character. But yeah, she pulls off a lot of crazy shit in this movie. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you hate her, sometimes she's making you laugh, sometimes you feel bad for her, sometimes you want for her to get what's coming to her. It's a very nuanced, interesting performance for sure. Yeah, I mean, like I said, the film's like super out there. The music, even like the font that they use, like in the title cards and stuff. The cinematography, it's all really, really well done. It's not a super long movie, I don't think, or if it was, it definitely like flew by. I've seen it twice. It gets better the second time I watched it. Definitely would recommend it. This is definitely one of the better movies I saw last year. Obviously, I won't go into the ending here, but I can definitely see some people thinking it's controversial. I loved it. I could totally see some people not liking it, and obviously I can't go into why right now, but I actually really like this ending. So that might confuse some people once they've seen the movie, but no, I think yeah, overall this movie's awesome. This is definitely worth seeing, as long as you don't mind your movies being a little bit more out there. I would say maybe watch The Favorite first. It's a little bit more accessible than this one, but definitely I would definitely check it out if you don't mind seeing something a little more weird. All right, coming in at number 4 is Weapons. This is maybe the movie I was most excited about this year. It had probably the best trailer of anything I saw all year. Just like the hook of this film, of the story of this movie, is just so good. It's so creative. So basically, it's about this entire elementary school class goes missing, and they all got out of their beds at the exact same time, 2:17 a.m. Is that what time it was? 2:17 a.m. exactly. And they all like went downstairs, walked out of their front door, and like just walked out into the night and were never seen again. I mean, it's such a creepy setup, so you're immediately like hooked as soon as the film starts, and it just gets crazier from there. So obviously with all these kids going missing, they're all in the same elementary school class. Their teacher's going to be the main suspect. So that's kind of where the film starts, is like from her perspective. But this movie does something really, really cool where it just tells the story of this film from like different characters' perspectives. That's sometimes not done that great. I remember there's this movie came out a long time ago called Vantage Point. This is done so much better than that. So basically, you're given the context of something from one character's perspective, and then it shows this other character who is involved in this character's story, but you get their side of the story, and then you have other characters, and it kind of branches out until it kind of all concludes towards like the last, I don't know, like third of the movie. And so yeah, it was just such an entertaining way to tell this story, and it was such a good way to kind of let the mystery unravel. And the movie definitely does take like a turn at some point. And I know that like, some people I spoke to, they said they didn't love, I guess, like the answer to the mystery, but to me it wasn't like I didn't like it. It was just that it was not exactly what I was expecting, and the film kind of goes in a different direction. But that direction it goes into, I loved. So I definitely think if the story hooks you, it might not be like the most mind blowing like revelation of what's happening, but I definitely think it was still satisfying. So Amy Madigan, she's probably the biggest standout here. She was nominated for Best Supporting Actress as Aunt Gladys. But yeah, I think she's already kind of become an iconic horror film villain. She completely transforms into this character. It's pretty crazy. Won't give away too much about what all she does here, but it's brutal. It is brutal, some of the stuff that she's doing here. Yeah, I mean, I think she's definitely going to go down as like one of the best horror movie villains ever. She's so mean. She's so mean to people, but she's also can be really funny. So I think Amy Madigan does a really good job here of just like kind of balancing that horror and the comedy for sure. And she's the definition of a character you love to hate. She's definitely the best part of this movie, I would say, for sure. Yeah, I mean, like I think everyone's great here. You got Julia Gardner. Julia Gardner. She a lot of people might know her as Ruth Langmore from Ozark. She's great here. Josh Brolin's really good. There's this kid from Euphoria. What's his name? Austin Abrams. He plays like this homeless drug addict, and he does like one of the best portrayals of like that type of person I can imagine. You got Alden Ehrenreich. He was the young Han Solo in that Han Solo movie no one saw. He's really good. He plays a cop. The whole cast does a great job here. And also the filmmaking here is great. Zach Kreger, who I think started out making like comedies. He made The Whitest Kids You Know, but he's kind of turned more into a horror film director now, and he does a great job. He's does such a good job of like setting up scenes like in a horror film, like as far as just like building tension and anticipation. There's a scene that takes place in a car, and like I could just tell like the entire theater was like on the edge of their seats, like just with anticipation for something about to happen, and like you could hear like people gasping during the movie. So it was there's a bunch of scenes like that too, and the way he shoots horror scenes, spooky scenes. is really well done. I'm really excited to see what he does next. And the last thing I'll say is that this movie has one of the most like satisfying payoffs of any film I've seen. I'm not going to give away it at all, but if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about, and if you are going to see it, you will know what I'm talking about right now. There's just something that was very cathartic and made my movie theater very, very happy when it happened. Number three is a film that might have made me the most sad of any film I saw, but that's a good thing. This is a devastating movie, but one of the maybe the best horror movie I've ever seen in my entire life. Not even joking. Bring Her Back. It's this was a phenomenal movie. I really cannot. I am so shocked more people weren't talking about this movie. This is like I said, one of the best horror movies I've ever seen. One of the best movies I saw last year. Period. This is a devastating movie, though. That's all I will say. One of the most disturbing films I think I've seen my entire life. Not just like what they're showing you, but like how invested you are in the story and the characters, and you don't want these things to happen. But yeah, this is like next level filmmaking, I would say. So Bring Her Back. This is a horror film from these two Australian YouTubers. They made this movie called Talk to Me, which I liked. I thought was pretty good, but I thought this was like way next level. Like they improved on pretty much everything they learned making their first film. Like these guys used to be YouTubers, but they're legit filmmakers now. But it's funny when you see them interviewed and stuff. They have such funny voices. they're so like jolly and cheery and like happy-go-lucky and excited about this movie they made. That's like the darkest film I've ever seen in my whole life. It's pretty funny. I mean, I was blown away by this film. I'll go ahead and let you know this is not going to be for everyone. This is a very dark, very disturbing, maybe the most disturbing movie I've ever seen in my life. But the reason why it's so disturbing is because you're so invested in what's happening with the story and with these characters. And just kind of the themes that it's going for. It's what makes the things that happen here just rough, hard to watch, but you can't tell me that this isn't like such a great film and such a great story. The plot of this film is you've basically got these two orphaned step siblings, and their father just recently passed away, and so they have to go live with this foster mom played by Sally Hawkins. And from pretty much the moment they get there, you realize something's up. And then there's also this other foster kid living there as well, and something's definitely up with him. Yeah, I mean that's kind of all you really need to know about the film going in. It might sound a little cliche, it might sound like not the most original premise, but once you kind of start getting into it and figuring out what's happening and how it's going to happen, that's when things start to get really interesting. But no, I mean, it'll keep you hooked from start to end. Yeah, I mean, Sally Hawkins gives one of the best performances I've ever seen here. If it wasn't for Rose Byrne being so good in If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, I would say she should absolutely win Best Actress. She, without a doubt, should be nominated for Best Actress this year. Gives one of the best performances of last year by anyone. She's just so good here. She can switch. She can just like flip on a dime so quick. She'll go from like this nice, sweet, caring lady to absolutely terrifying. And it happens like so organically. She's just like, I'm having a hard time even describing like how good she is in this movie. But the rest of the supporting cast here is great too. So both the main kids, I think it's Ben Barrett and Sora Wong, are really good here. Sora Wong, I believe she's actually blind in real life, or at least like seeing impaired. But in the film, she's basically blind. And so her brother's, her caretaker, but he's still like a kid himself. And so the dynamic between these siblings is so good. Like you really grow attached to them really fast. They have great chemistry together. Like you really do believe they're siblings, even though they're step siblings. Like um, they really do have like such a good sibling dynamic. And that's one of the things that like really captures you from the start of this film. Yeah, I mean, there's like a tons of layers to their relationship as you find out more about it. Yeah, there's also the creepy ass kid I was telling you about, Jonah Rin Phillips. He is so convincing as this kid with something wrong with him. And the directors ask him to do some of the most insane things for anyone to do in a movie, let alone like a kid. Like he's probably like 12 or 13 years old. Yeah, he's so good here as well. I can't get too much into what all he's doing, but oh my god, I gotta talk about this one scene in this film. It's one of the best scenes I saw of any film last year, and that was the scene where the the family, the Sally Hawkins and the kids, they decide to all party and get drunk together, and Sally Hawkins and Ben Barrett, they have like kind of like a drunken therapy session, I guess you could say, where they're just kind of talking, and it was one of the best scenes I saw last year, and honestly ever. Um, that one scene's worth the price of admission alone. Just the acting's so good, and just one of those scenes that makes you love movies. This movie's unbelievable. Everyone that thinks they can handle it should see it. Only reason it's not number one is just because it just made me devastated at some points. So, like I said, if you can handle it, give it a go. All right, so number two on my list, and this was actually number one on my list, but I ended up flipping this movie and the number one kind of last second. But Marty Supreme, this one of maybe the best sports movies I've ever seen in my life. I mean, this movie's a lot more than just a sports film, especially when you consider it's ping pong. That's the sport that takes place. You have to start this film by talking about Timothy Chalamet. Chalamet. I still don't know how to say his name. And I know he's like maybe not the most popular guy. Some people think he's a douchebag. I don't know anything about him. He seems fine to me, but whatever. Whatever you think of him, you cannot watch this movie and not tell me that he is one of the best actors working today. To me, it was my single favorite performance of last year, even more than Sally Hawkins, more than Rose Byrne. I think he absolutely deserves to win Best Actor. There's some kind of controversy going on with him right now. I don't care. I don't know anything about any of that shit. He's great. He totally transforms into Marty Mauser, Marty Supreme. Like legitimately, he was born to play this role. Like I can't imagine any other actor playing this role, especially like at this age. Maybe like Leo when he was younger, but even then, like I don't think Leonardo DiCaprio would have been able to nail this as much as Timothy Chalamet does. He's so good here. He plays just like Chalamet plays Marty Mauser. He is a complete scammer, hustler, prick, but he's just so damn like charismatic. You almost just can't help but root for him. It's kind of a fascinating dynamic because you change your opinion on him so much throughout the movie. You go from really liking him, thinking he's hilarious. He says some crazy things out of nowhere that like you just can't help but laugh at because it's so like out of nowhere and shocking. But yeah, you go from loving him to hating him to being worried about him to being like mad at him. Like it's really interesting how Chalamet is able to kind of like walk this tightrope of all this different aspects of this character he's trying to portray, and he totally nails it. I mean, like I said, I can't imagine anyone doing a better job in this. It's like the film's 2.5 hours, and at the end of it, you're still not quite sure what to make of the guy. But he's super compelling, and he's complicated, and I think that's what makes a really good character. Yeah, I mean, basic plot for this film is just you've got Timothy Chalamet playing Marty Mauser, who is trying to become the world's best ping pong player, and he'll do whatever the hell he can to do that. That's really all you need to know. A lot of this movie is just him trying to get enough money to go play in a ping pong tournament. That and it's fascinating. Um, this film was directed by Josh Safdie, one of the Safdie brothers, who have made a couple. They're known for making very fast-paced, anxiety-inducing films. Uncut Gems, Good Time. This film's no different. It maybe is the most anxiety-inducing of all of them, despite the fact that the stakes shouldn't be this high for for what's happening. Chalamet, he just gets in like such crazy situations with a bunch of other crazy side characters, and so it's just so much fun to watch. It's kind of like The Wolf of Wall Street. Like that movie's 8 hours long or whatever, but you don't feel the length at all because it's so fast paced and entertaining that you just can't help but just be fascinated in watching these characters and watching and seeing how this story is going to unravel and what's going to happen next. I mean, it's super compelling, and Josh Safdie deserves like all the credit for directing and yeah. But yeah, like the actual ping pong scenes here are like some of the best shot sports scenes I've ever seen. Like they're just as compelling and entertaining as watching, like Remember the Titans or, Raging Bull or Warrior. I mean, it's pretty crazy, like how invested you get in the story and invested in the ping pong matches and how they're going. And really, like when you think about it, like ping pong is such an interesting sport to shoot because it's like so fast paced and it's just two athletes like one on one with each other. So it's kind of similar to boxing in that way. I think Josh Safdie definitely chose this story with this sport for a reason. And he's like the perfect choice for making this film and like shooting those ping pong scenes. Yeah, the rest of the cast here is great also. You've got and the Safdie brothers have always casted like non-actors in roles just to kind of give the film more authenticity, and this like might be like the best casted film of the year just because he does such a good job of finding such niche random people and putting them in these roles. Like, so you got Timothy Chalamet, obviously. Then you've got Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank. He's like pretty much the main villain of the film. Like, just could not have thought of a more random person to play that role, but it totally works. He's like this rich asshole, and he's really really good in the movie. I don't know how else to say it. You got Gwyneth Paltrow is in the movie. She's like an older actress, but she's great. You've got Tyler, the Creator, is one of Marty's best friends. You've got, remember that homeless guy with a really nice voice? He's in this film. That fat New York Knicks fan who hates Trae Young, he's in this movie for some reason, but he's really good too. Like, Penn Jillette, that magician, he's in here. He plays like a redneck. Yeah, it's just crazy how good the cast does. I mean, everyone here nails the performance. Yeah, I think Odessa Ozion is probably the best supporting character here. She plays Marty's girlfriend, and she's like his equal. Like, she's basically like the girl version of him. So it's really interesting seeing those two go up with each other. And they have a really fun dynamic in the film. They're a lot of fun to watch together. I think she definitely could have been nominated for Best Supporting Actress. She's great here. Be interested to see what else she'll do in her career. Yeah, also love the score and the soundtrack to this film. The film takes place, I think, in the 50s, but it's all like an 80s soundtrack and score. It's got like a bunch of synth music and a lot of really good 80s music here. And you wouldn't think it would work because it's not the right time period, but somehow it really does work. I guess maybe Josh Safdie was going for like kind of those 80s sports movies like Rocky, kind of like that type of music, and how that fits into this like sports film of the 50s. So yeah, that was a really good aspect of this for sure. The only thing I guess keeping this from number one was I'm still not 100% sure on how I feel about the ending. I've heard a lot of different people have different opinions. Obviously, I'm not going to get into it here. Don't want to spoil anything, but I like the ending, but I'm still not 100% sure how I feel about it. So one of those things where maybe I'll grow to like it even more, but totally worth seeing. One of the best films, not just of this year, but the past like decade, honestly. One of the best sports films ever, for sure. Maybe my favorite sports movie of all time. All right, so like I said, Marty Supreme was my number one film of the year, but after seeing this film for a second time, I've actually decided to bump it up to number one spot of the year, and that film is No Other Choice. I'm sure most of you have never heard of this film. This is a film by Park Chan-wook. He's one of the most like famous, celebrated directors in South Korea. This is actually the first film I've seen from him. I've not seen Old Boy, but I've heard that film's like a masterpiece. I can't wait to go through the rest of his films because this is legitimately one of the best films I've ever seen in my entire life. Yeah, this is a hard movie to describe, but the basic plot is you've got this guy who's got like the perfect family life up until he gets laid off from his job at a paper factory. And so he is applying and trying to get another paper job. And he kind of comes to the conclusion that the only way he's going to get another job is if he murders all of the other people that are applying for the job. So yeah, it's pretty far out there as far as like just the basic premise of the movie goes, and you wouldn't think that with a premise that dark that it would be this funny of a movie, but it's hilarious. Maybe the funniest movie I saw last year. Even funnier than like Friendship or The Naked Gun or Eddington or any of them. Like, it's legitimately like a hilarious film, but it does such a good job of balancing like the comedic parts with the dramatic parts too. And it's like really funny, like cartoonish, wacky type of type of humor, which you wouldn't think would work at all with like such a dark subject matter as murder, but somehow it works perfectly. I don't know how to explain it other than it just does such a good job of balancing like the dramatic and the comedic parts. Yeah, there's like a whole lot that this film is saying, and you probably won't pick up on all of it your first time watching. There's definitely going to be a lot of those like No Other Choice explained, ending explained type videos on YouTube. But yeah, it definitely has a lot to say, but it never gets like in the way of the enjoyment you might have of like the plot or the characters, anything. It just complements it all so perfectly. Just give you a little background on me. I have no like formal training on how movies are made. I didn't go to film school. I don't know really much about like editing or cinematography or like how movies are made or how they're shot, camera work, that type of thing. The only video editing I've done was like a high school English project, like my junior year of high school. And so the reason I say that is because I don't think I can quite like properly explain to you like how well the direction and cinematography of this film is. Just like the camera work alone. Like there will be a scene where there will be a shot like on the first story of a house, like outside of the house, and the camera will just like zoom up and show you like the second floor of the house. But it's done like such a cool, awesome way. Like I don't know how to explain it other than the camera work of this film and like the look of the film, like the coloring, like the lighting, all of it is just done like so perfectly. And it's so cool. Like it's just like such a freaking cool film to watch. Like you could put it on mute and just see like the visuals of the film. And they're done just like so freaking well. Every scene is shot like uniquely. Like every like scene transition is done differently. Like one of the coolest things I've ever seen in a movie was just a shot of someone taking a shot. They put a shot glass in a beer, and then they chug the beer and shot glass at the same time. And the camera's like put inside of the beer somehow. It's like one of the coolest things I've ever seen in my life. And like every scene has something like that. Like there's a scene transition where someone talks about this time they were at a movie theater and the lights went out in the movie theater, and they had to use a lighter to like light to follow their way out of the movie theater. And so like there's like an explosion, but it's the explosion of the lighter turning on, the fire coming out of the lighter. It's so freaking cool. That's like the best way I can describe it. It's just like it's probably maybe the best directed film I've ever seen. I'm not kidding. All the performances here are great too. You have Man-Soo is the main character, and he's played by Lee Byung-hun. I googled the right way to pronounce that. Some of you might recognize him from Squid Games. He's like, I think the bad guy in the first season. I've only seen that first season of Squid Games, but yeah, no, he does such a good job here of balancing the dramatic and the comedic parts. He's asked to do a ton here. And even though he's doing like all this terrible things, somehow you still keep rooting for him. And I think that's mostly because the actor does like such a good job of playing this character. And like there's a lot of different layers. There's a lot of different kind of dynamics to him. But he nails everything great. I mean, he's so funny at times, and then he's so good at nailing these dramatic scenes he has like with his family. And then you also have, where is she? Son Ye Jin. She plays the wife and like the mother of the family, and she I think totally got snubbed for best supporting actress. She totally should have been nominated. She's great here. She is basically like the one keeping the family together with everything going on with like the dad being out of work and pulling all of his shenanigans he does. Yeah, she does a great job here. Both the dramatic and the comedic moments. So, I've actually seen this film twice, and it definitely gets better the second time you've seen it. The plot has such a fast pace, and you can almost get distracted by like all the cool stuff you're seeing. You never get like lost by anything going on in this film, but I think like the second time you see it, you notice things you didn't notice the first time, and so some things make a little bit more sense. But yeah, I mean, from start to finish, the film's just awesome. I mean, it just captivates you from the very very first frame to the very last frame. Yeah, I mean, this movie is pretty much perfect. I wish I could properly describe to you just how freaking awesome this film is. And I can confidently say here that I believe I only have 7 movies that I would give a 10 out of 10 to. And this is the 8th. This is my newest 10 out of 10 film. It's very rare. I haven't seen a 10 out of 10 film since Gone Girl. So this is my first one in 12 years that I've seen. But yeah, I can't tell you enough. Even though it's in Korean, I would say everyone should see this movie. It's that good. So I really appreciate the time, guys. I can't believe how long this video is probably going to be. Very ambitious for my first time. Would love to hear any feedback you guys have. I'm really excited to see how this turns out. This is just going to be a fun thing for me to do here. But, smash that like and smash that subscribe. And I think there's a notification bell. I'm not sure what that does, but hit that too, apparently. And tell your friends, tell your family, anyone that likes movies. Even if you don't like movies, watch this. But thank you guys. I appreciate it.